everyone, welcome back to Alchemy with Zero Phase. I thought I would do a quick video since I did post this up on GitHub and I've already had some people clone it and ask me some questions about it. And I would like to just do a quick tutorial here on its usage, how to set it up, and kind of a quick tutorial on how to use the nodes. So this is Zer LLM, that's what I've decided to call it. It is up on GitHub. I'll put the link in this video. This will be a quick video I'll put up tonight. It's not going to have the normal intro animation, as the person I have doing the editing for that probably wouldn't be able to get to it for a while. So this is the main interface. I did rename the main, the primary Python file to main.py. I realized that there was some confusion on which one you're supposed to run, and some people had gotten into were loading up the node editor first, and they were getting this and didn't see all the other stuff. So I have changed that. Update your git pull, git update, or whatever, and pull the latest version. You should get the proper naming on that. Okay, so this is the main interface, and what you have here is a list of the instruction sequences that you are created. Those are the nodes. This is just the names of those sequences that I've created. So if you go in here, you get like this is my plan, create, and improve sequence. Under the file menu, this is where you would go to manage your APIs. And what this does is opens up another little window which lists the APIs you are currently connected to. You can add new ones, edit the current ones, or delete them. Okay. So let's just jump into the Grok Llama 3.1 70B versatile connection. Brings up the properties window here where you can edit the API properties. So this is just a name. You can name it whatever you want. This is where you put in the base URL for the API. And typically, most APIs that are not OpenAI will start similar to this, where you have the URL for the API.claude. whatever / and then most of them have a standard OpenAI here that they've used because OpenAI just set the standard for that. Okay, this is where you put your API key. Here's where you select the API type. So, sorry. The way OpenAI takes its API calls is a little different. Like the URL is slightly different, and how the APIs are accessed is slightly different than Ollama. Okay, so that's why I've created this dropdown so you can select between the two. A lot of people want to be able to use a local LLM installation. That's why I've got Ollama set up, because it allows you to access via an API call, which is really cool. Once you connect it, you hit fetch models, and it will come down here and populate with all the available models that the API or this particular vendor provides under their API connections. And you can select wherever you want, and I typically like to name it, well, this is my Grok and this is the LLM I'm connecting to, so I know which name it's under. Then you can specify the number of tokens, which is optional. Then you just save it. So again, OpenAI, this is my OpenAI one, and it's similar to that one. The only thing it's missing is it's not going to say OpenAI here at the end. Everything else is pretty much the same, and obviously the token limit or whatever is different for these, but you have access to whatever OpenAI has under there. So I've designated GPT-4o Mini because it's ridiculously cheap and allows me to do a lot of testing on here without incurring a massive bill. So, okay, for the Ollama ones, let me show you that one here real quick. I do have a local server running Ollama, and so I would put this in, a colon, and the port number, and the default port number for Ollama is 11434. There is no API key required for this. You just select Ollama from this list, and then you get to pull whatever models you have installed on your local server. Specify the tokens, hit save, and there you go. And you can gradually build up this list. It might be good, like if you name them possibly like what the model is good at. Like take for instance, let's go back into Ollama here. There are a couple models in here that are good specifically for coding. Qwen 2.5, Coder 7B. So maybe up here I would put that in there, and then I put coding, so I know that it's specifically for coding. just, whatever naming standard you want to go by is totally fine. It doesn't really affect the operation of it. It's just how you remember or know what that particular AI LLM is going to do. Okay, so that gives you your APIs. Now over here in the interface, you have the list of node sequences. Now this is a little different. When I originally started making this, I wanted a standard, like, submit and get a response. So I had a selector here where I would select the API and I could just type in something here and hit submit and it would give me a response. What I decided to do though is just focus purely on the node aspect of it, and I love it that way. The reason why is I felt like it would just be too confusing to have a checkbox that would enable the instruction prompts instead of just using, the API drop-down box or whatever. Anyway, because I realized I could just create a basic node set up for simple requests, and it works perfectly fine. So as you can see, we have a node here. We can go into edit it, and all I did was say process the following. That was it. And you can specify your API. I'll go into some of this here in a little bit. Oh yeah, let's cancel this. Okay, so here you have your prompt box. This is where you're going to put in your request. It is set up to take quite a bit. You can copy and paste a ton of stuff in there if you want, and it will swallow the whole thing. So I'm not sure exactly what the limit is on that. Obviously, there's a token limit, but and then you hit submit. You do have a stop process. What this will do is stop the process after the current node finishes processing. Clear all just clears everything and kind of resets everything back to as if you just opened it. And your response box here is this is where the responses from the AI come, after it's done processing the sequence of nodes. And this box is formatted, so it should format it like ChatGPT does. So for example, let's just say we want a show me a block of random Python code. Yeah, we'll just do that. And there you go. So obviously it's going to have its text, but then it gives you the block of code, and you can just copy and paste that using the button. I'm working on getting rid of these notifications. I really hate these notifications. I hate having extra buttons I need to click. I know I clicked copy code, so I'll get rid of those too. Anyway, copy code, paste it over there, and it formats it great. Works good. It also does like the heading and the titles, and how it increased font size and indentation. As you can see down here, it actually did the indentation and the bullet points, things like that. So it works great for formatting that way as well. Just like I said, just like in ChatGPT. Okay, so let's dive into the nodes. I want to explain the nodes and how they work. I'm going to go into this one here. This is one I created. I call it my plan, create, improve node. And so all sequences will have a start node and a finish node. I'm keeping this pretty simple right now. We are probably going to, or I'm probably going to introduce more sophisticated nodes that do various things as I get suggestions. Honestly, this was just a simple way to set this up. It allowed for some simple configurations. And after I got done making this, I realized this is going to allow for a lot more sophisticated processing capability when it comes to utilizing APIs, or these APIs. So let's go to the start node. You just click that and it adds a start node, and then you just attach it. So if you want to get rid of it, you can delete it. But for this one here, we're going to edit this. You can see I've got a name here. It has the name create plan. So let's go into this. And what I've got here is a prompt. This is your prompt up here. And I'm instructing it to take the user request and create a concise step-by-step plan for completing the user request, essentially. We're using Ollama to process this one. We're not using the test criteria because, as you can see, we're only using so these two nodes here, the green and the red one, represent true or false. If there's nothing connected to false, it just assumes true and passes the result on to the next node. If you do include a test criterion, we'll go into that here because we have one down here that says rate and review. And I'll show you how that works. And down here you can create a small description or name your node. And what it does, it puts it down under where it says start node. And right here you can say create plan. And then I also have it set to list the API that you're currently attached to. So you can quickly see which APIs it's passing through without having to go into the properties of the node. Hey, just real quick, just going to interject this. I forgot to put this in the original video. To connect these nodes should be pretty intuitive if you've used node systems before. You're just dragging and connecting nodes like that. If you want to remove it, just right-click on it. You can right-click on the actual link itself. But if you want to just get rid of this specific connection, you just right-click on it and delete connection. That's it. I don't think I mentioned that in the video as I was recording it, but there you go. You can move these around. I really love the. Maybe I should get into Comfy UI because I really like this. Maybe this will get me going on that. But let's get into the next one. I don't know if this one's really any different. We again have another prompt. The way I'm using this one is so it says create a plan, so it passes. The way this is designed is it's set to pass. I should say the way this prompt is designed is I say your expected output is the original user request, and then after that you will give your plan. So what that means is it's going to output the original user request, which in this one here show me a block of random Python code, and right after that it's going to lay out its plan for executing that. It passes that output to this, and then it says please take the given user request and high-level plan for executing that request and complete the task. Your expected output is first restate the user request, and then the high-level plan, then the final product. So it's supposed to list the user requests, keeping everything almost like in a chat context. And this is where I want to create like maybe another window, or and if people have suggestions on this, where instead of trying to get the AI to output each output to the next one, we have a context window where it's just adding the results of each one to that context window and then resubmitting that to the next node if you want it to, or maybe you can have a little designator that says utilize context on one, and others maybe you have one that says don't utilize context. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, through the prompt, I'm just instructing it to pass the results on. Okay, so it executes it, creates the code, or executes my request, passes it onto the rating and review node here. And what this one does is we're instructing, hey, I want you, in the context of the content you were just given, I want you to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10. And if it gets above a 9.3, then I want you to add the word review pass at the very end of your output. And then this right here is just a Boolean test. All this is doing is it's a search test, I should say. So it's all it's doing is using Python to search the output for this word. If it sees this word, then it executes the true statement and passes the output to the next node in the sequence. If it does not find this, meaning it did not get a rating of 9.3 or higher, then it sends it back up here with the review and the suggested improvements to the execute plan. It processes that and sends it back down to the review. And so you got this loop where it'll basically just continually try to improve that output. This isn't perfect. Most of the time it works because it's passing the user request along with the new review and everything else. And eventually you get an improved output. And eventually it hits a 9.3 and sends it over to here to the finalize and complete node. We'll pull this one up. You can have multiple nodes open here, the properties and everything. And it says, please take the following and finish modifying it utilizing the included suggestions, because we're still going to get some suggestions from this last one. And your only expected output is the finalized content without the review. Okay, so it's only supposed to output whatever it is it was working on without the final review. or any other comments. I need to add that in there. Anyway, so just to show you how this runs, I'm going to come over here and let's have it write a blog post. Write a blog post on how King Kong would get his ass kicked by Godzilla. And we've already selected the plan, create, improve. We're going to hit submit, and you can see this node lit up. It's creating the outline or the plan on what it's going to do to write this. It's using the Ollama API for that. Sends it up here to the OpenAI GPT one, and it's going to execute the plan and write the blog. Once it's done, it sends it down here to have it rate and review it using Ollama 3.18b. If it doesn't get a 9.3, it's going to send it back up to here. Oh, it looks like it did, so it's going to send a GPT-4o mini is great. But so over here, it's now finalizing with the improvements and sending it out. Now I'm trying to get it to where it lights up the finish node. It doesn't quite do that yet. But over here, you can see we got our output. Why Godzilla would totally wipe the floor with King Kong. It kind of cleaned up my language a little bit. When it comes to epic battles in the monster movie universe, few matchup sparks as much debate. Anyway, let's see if it included the review. Good. No, it didn't. That's why I think I do want to include some kind of a context window where it's just outputting or creating almost like a timeline of each node, so you can kind of see what it's doing. I mean, if you go and look at the console, you can see some of what it's doing. I'm not going to bring it up here because it is raw output on a lot of stuff, including API keys. So, but you can kind of see what it's doing, and which is good. But I kind of want like an output, a context output that's formatted like this. And I don't think it'll be hard to implement, where basically not only does it send the output here, but it sends it in sequence on the timeline. And that way you get a really good history of it. And I think that'll allow us to do better things in the way of keeping context and helping the AIs out a bit. So there's my little blog article about Godzilla kicking King Kong's ass. So there you go. Okay, so that's that. You can resize these nodes, move them around however you want, add your name, hit save, and watch them run. I'm waiting. I'm excited to see how people use this. I am very interested in possibly connecting with somebody who understands agentic setups, utilizing like LangChain and Acorn vector databasing, or even some sort of a local vector database. I don't know a lot about that. I'm studying up on it a little bit to see if I can understand how to utilize that, because I really feel like I've got a good basis here for an agentic system, especially one that is local and has a GUI interface with a node-based system. So, being that as it is, I hope this helps explain how things work, how things are set up, and some basics around the nodes. They're super basic right now. There's not much to them. You just have your prompt, pick your API, do some test criteria if you want to use the true or false part of the node, and name it, save it. That's it. So I'll post this tonight so people can start looking at it. And I do have a video, the first in the series of 3 on how to build your own prompt generator. I'm walking through showing people how to use ChatGPT to build up a seed prompt that will allow them to generate prompts for Flux. It's just a super basic one. It doesn't have quite all the same features as my full Flux prompt generator, but it works really well. So the first video is up today. We get the basic prompt generator down. The next video, we go into depth in refining it, adding some functionality. And then the third video, I do introduce this new program. This is a slightly updated version of it because in that particular video, it doesn't have like some of the naming on here and the ability to resize and stuff. So we are updating this and making it better. And then there's this video. So I'm just going to get this one up tonight, undercutting that third video. But in that third video, we do go more into depth into refining the prompt generator for those who are interested. Because that was the original reason I started making this program, is I wanted people to able to utilize their prompt generators locally. Not that this prompt generator works too well with the local LLMs, but you now have the option. Like if we come in here, right now it's set to GPT-4o Mini. Let's take a look and see if it works with Grok 70B. And let's just say, let's see, 2 prompts, portrait, photography of an old man sitting in a rocking chair. And Grok works good. And there's the 2 prompts. Well, I guess that wasn't a local LLM, right? So let's try, where is it? Ollama 3.2. 3.2 doesn't really do all that well. Not too happy with that release. We'll give it some time, but let's try the Ollama and then the Llama 3.17b or 8b or whatever it was. I think it was 8b. Oh, hold on. Save. So as you can see, it kind of works. It's interpreting things a little weird when it comes to adding text and words for the Flux prompts, but it did give us 2 prompts here. A little wordy. Anyway, we'll probably go through and refine it some more. But yeah, for those of you who originally purchased my Ultimate Stable Diffusion prompt generator, or even the Midjourney one, you can add those in here, tie them into OpenAI, the GPT-4o Mini, because it's super cheap, and it'll work great. It does a good job, and you can just copy and paste those into whatever image generation you want. So someone did make the recommendation on my Discord to be able to export the sequence as I guess as a Python script, which would be kind of cool. I'll look and see if I think that would be possible, honestly. And here's why. We can set the program up so that if you can take your saved node sequence, which saves as a YAML file, you can basically say, instead, save that into memory, take that as the context, and pass it to, like, say, OpenAI, and instruct it to convert it to Python script. And so that might be a cool way of doing that. Just kind of a cool feature. So anyway, I got to go to bed. I'll get a little too excited about this. I've been up late at night working on these just because of how fun it is. And just hoping to produce something good that people like using. Well, I'll talk to you later.